Hello everyone, and welcome to webinar number 4. This is going to be the budgeting webinar. This is the webinar that I expect people to be coming back to year after year. We do seem to have a little bit of a hard time using the budgeting app of the apps tool, so feel free to watch this video as much as you need. And if it's still not made clear, contact your community relations coordinator. Okay, so just like everything else on the app, when it comes time to budgeting, you're going to see on the left-hand side here, it's pretty easy. Just click on budget. I will add, you guys cannot put out your full budget for an annual program plan year without your annual program plan being completed. If you need help completing your annual program plan, go back to webinar number 2 and we'll talk about it. Okay, however, this part cannot be done without it complete, and you'll see why in a bit. Okay? So this is a great little tool. It does all the work for you. It does all the math for you. It helps you out, okay? So I'm currently in August 2022, and we're dealing with an NC&SRCP grant of $56,200. If you're watching this webinar a couple, 3 years from now, this will be higher. You need to get this info from your community relations coordinator. It is not always going to be $56,200. Chances are it will have gone up. It usually goes up every year. Okay, but for our purposes, it has stayed at $56,200. So that's the number we're going to be operating with. Okay? Employer contribution. For the most part, you guys can leave this blank. However, if you are a Northern Lights school, Northern Lights does chip in an extra $7,000. Okay? And we're going to pretend we are a Northern Lights school for today, and we're going to click that $7,000 button. Okay? Other revenue, this usually comes from grants. For the most part, I'm going to ask that you guys leave this blank unless you have a reason to. And if you guys do feel you have a reason to fill out this other revenue portion, if you do have grants coming in, talk with your community relations coordinator first. Just because there's usually some caveats with this, okay? We're going to go to continue. All right, coordinator salary. If you're new, you need to know your salary. If you're not new, you also still need to know your salary. You cannot fill out a proper budget without knowing your salary. Now, that being said, it is usually part of the programs and guidelines and is on the annual agreement. So I'm going to go up here, and you can see that we do have a salary grid. This salary grid is the minimum. All right, so if you're unsure, feel free to use these numbers, okay? Now, the grid means that a starting CSRC gets this much, and it goes up every year. Tier 4. This is a minimum. Right, so you may be making more than this. If you're a Northern Lights CSRC, you're definitely making more than this. All right. However, this is here if you do need it. And the programs and guidelines can be found on our website. Okay. So we're going to say for this, we're going to say 36,762. Benefits. For the most part, if you guys are unsure, I mean, you really should talk to your employer and get the actual number. But if you are unsure, if you are unsure, take 10%. All right. So we're looking at 36,762 here. 10%. We're just going to say 3,600 for our benefits. Training and development has gone up to $3,000 this year. If you're watching this in the future and it's not August 2022, make sure you find out what the actual training and development costs are. $3,000 we just recommend as a minimum. This is for you to pay to go to our training events, area meetings, fall orientation, spring training, so on and so forth. For the most part, $3,000 will probably be enough. However, if you're someone who maybe lives in South End or lives in Wollaston or whatever, you're going to need to make sure that you do budget a little bit more, as you will be taking planes and whatnot to get out of community. Okay? So we're going to go to continue again, and I'm just going to actually go save. Okay, and let's go back to expenditures. So you guys are going to notice that there's this number here, this $15,399. Our total goal of using this budgeting app is to get this to be 0. Okay, so what this has done is it's taken all of our revenue. So it knows we have $56,200 and $7,000 coming in, so $63,200 in revenue. It knows that we have the salary, the benefits, and the training and development coming in, and it minuses that, and it gives us $15,399. What this means is this is how much money we have left to spend on our actual programs that we're going to be running. This number needs to be 0. So if we click on continue, we're going to go through and we're going to budget for the year. Okay, so you can see I've already done a few things here. However, let's add something. Okay, just as an example. So we're going to say Culture Week. Okay, let's say we need supplies for Culture Week. And it's going to cost us a lot. It's going to cost us $10,000. Okay, normally it won't cost that much, but I'm just doing this as an example. We're going to click Save. We're going to go back to expenditures, and you guys are going to notice now this number is $53.99. Okay, the number's gone down, but it's still not 0. Let's add something else. Let's say dance class. Let's say the dance class, we need a teacher and supplies. And it's going to cost us $6,000. We're going to go to Save. Now you're going to notice that the number is negative, and I did this on purpose. Okay, so this means we're $601 over budget. We have $601 that we can't account for, right? We don't have the money for it. So we're just going to simply go in here, and let's add, we're going to take 601 off of something, okay? So we're going to say, what was that before? We're going to say $28.99. Okay, I think that should work. And this should balance our budget. Okay, 0. Your budget is going to be fluid. It is going to be changing throughout the year. You're going to notice, you know, let's say life saving, we had $28.99 accounted for. Maybe it doesn't cost that. Maybe we don't run Life Saving Society. Maybe it costs a little bit more. I don't know. But your budget is a revolving door. Try and keep this updated as much as you guys can. It's a tool here for you guys to use, right? As you guys go through, you're going to need to work with your steering committee to make sure that you guys get approval for all this stuff. And then you're not just kind of throwing numbers willy-nilly everywhere, right? There is a proper way to budget. You should be getting quotes. You should be talking to people. You should be looking at supplies from last year. If you want more info on how to budget, we do have a PowerPoint available that we can go over with you guys, or we can send your way. Okay? Once this is done, again, here's the export to PDF, okay? So again, one of two things are going to happen, just like the summary and the program statistics. Either it's going to save or it's going to make a pop-up. Okay, in my case, it's going to make a pop-up, and this is going to give us our budget for the full year. Okay, so everything on here is for the full year, and as you guys can see, the budget is balanced, right? Total revenue, total expenditures, they're the same. These two numbers have to match. All right, and then there's a spot here to sign. If you guys hand this in with your annual program plan, which is what we ask, and this budget actually does show up on the annual program plan as well. But if you do hand this in, you don't need to get this signed. Right? Just get your supervisor and community partner to sign the annual program plan and show this with it, and we'll take that as good enough. Okay, that is it for this webinar on how to budget. Again, this is just how to use the budgeting app. It's not how to actually plan out your budget for the year. If you do need to plan out your budget for the year, there is a process to do that. That's probably going to involve your community partner and supervisor, and again, getting quotes and just kind of looking over stock, what you guys have left. Okay, that should be all. Thank you very much.